Thank you for watching the Solid Sports Gaming channel. You're watching another edition of the Solid Sports video blog. This is episode 100. That's right, the 100th time I've done this. And today's date is March 22nd, 2019. Thank you for joining me right here on the Solid Sports Gaming channel. Troy West said thank you always for all the support. Big week in the world of sports. Lots going on in all facets of the sports world. Baseball update. The season actually got started on early Wednesday and Thursday morning in Tokyo, as the Mariners and the A's kicked off the 2019 season in Tokyo, Japan, and a surprise retirement of Ichiro Suzuki. We'll talk about that, and I'll give you my top 5 outfielders in the major leagues. Also, players still getting paid. Mike Trout, you heard about his monster contract. That's was big news this week. Blake Snell of the Rays got an extension, as also Paul Goldschmidt, the new St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll touch on all that stuff. NBA, a little quiet because of the NCAA Tournament started as yesterday, but just a quick look at the playoff picture in both the East and the Western Conference. The West is pretty much set as far as the 8 teams, and the East is starting to get there. So we'll talk about all that. And NFL, from all the news, we'll talk about the Kaepernick grievance, which was shocking to me. We'll go into detail about that. A few little moves also in NFL, and we'll talk about the tournament, the NCAA tournament as well. But first, we're going to start with our MLB update, baseball news. Baseball season starts next Thursday, and I'm announcing now I'm going to have a special episode as I preview the MLB season. I got to really start thinking about it, because right now I don't really have a team I really want to get behind. You know, it's going to be the same teams probably in the American League. Yankees, Red Sox, Astros, still going to be strong. National League to me is wide open, so got to give a lot of thought. I got a week to think about it, I guess, but I have it next Wednesday episode will air, so we'll have 2 blogs next week. One blog based on just baseball as we preview the season, and of course our normal weekly blog next Saturday. That blog will be placed. Of course, today is Friday. Of course, I'm doing it early this week. Yeah, the season got started the other morning in Tokyo, Japan. I watched a little bit of both games. Seattle was able to sweep the short 2-game series. Oakland, of course, the A's was in the playoffs last year as a wild card. Seattle made a push, but fell off at the end of the season. Mariners pretty much gutted their roster. A lot of people was gone, or they traded Cano to the Mets. Nelson Cruz is gone. Only people that was there that's familiar is Ichiro Suzuki, who retired after yesterday's game, and K. Felix is still there. He's hurt. He won't start the season. So, but let's talk more about the Ichiro retiring. Of course, Ichiro was 45 years old, which I knew he was up there in age. He started here in the States in 2001, but he played a long time in Japan as well. This was an exciting player for us, like making great plays in the outfield. Always getting his bat on the ball. Was a perennial 3 between 320, 330 hitter. Never won a title though. I know he played for the Yankees, but I don't think he was on that 2009 team. I don't believe when the Yankees won. So I don't think he had any World Series rings, but he played for the Yankees. He moved around a lot. Played for the Marlins the last few years as well. But then wound up going back to Seattle. And he said, well, some people knew about it, but it was more a big surprise to everybody that he walked away just to play these 2 games. Final at bat, he wound up, I think he struck out looking, which was uncharacteristic of Ichiro. He barely strikes out at all. But he had a great career, definitely a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Was just an exciting player to watch, so I wish Ichiro luck. I wonder if he's going to become a coach or anything, or a hitting coach, or maybe a manager, or we'll see if what's in his future. But I think he probably was like, I'm home. I want to just relax. Maybe you thought it was a perfect time. And then for the fans that really loved him, even though it kind of sucks that the Mariners fans don't get to see him as well. I know they appreciated him as well, but it was a classy thing to do by Ichiro Suzuki, and congratulations on a great career. He was a great player, so he'll be missed by a lot of baseball fans, including myself. So it was very exciting. I like to see moments like that. Moments like that made me think about my dad, all those special moments in sports period. But that was a special moment, even though he didn't play that well yesterday. Just the atmosphere was just, you can't match that barely at all in the world of sports. With somebody retiring, or a player comes back from maybe a significant injury, or championship settings, just the eerie feeling that well, eerie is the wrong word. Epic feeling that, you know, make your head stand up on the back of your neck. Like, those moments of sports is what I love about sports, and it was a good moment yesterday. So, like I said, good luck to Ichiro Suzuki. And Mariners don't look too bad. Like, they just got a complete team. They did get who they picked up in the offseason? At first base, they got a power hitter. I hate when my mind go blank on names, but we'll see if Seattle competes this year. Oakland, first 2 games in the baseball season, it's a long season of baseball, so off the bad starts ain't always the end of the world, but still want to sort of get off to a decent start to begin the season. But both teams come back here, play a few more straight training games, and then get ready for next Thursday is when the real opening day really will start for the rest of the league. So, but I also put together, this is my final list before the season starts. I thought I had more time. I thought I had at least one more week, but top 5 outfielders in baseball. I start with number 5 and work my way up. This is real opinionated. Like I said, you could probably break this list down in some degrees. I think number 1, everybody agree on number 1. You know who that is. If you're a baseball fan, you know who number 1 is. So we'll wait to save him for last. But let's start with number 5. The second richest man in sports, Bryce Harper for the Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, he signed for his major deal with the Phillies a few weeks ago. I think this Bryce Harper is more, but he had an up and down year last year, had a strong second half. But I think when he's healthy and when he's playing his best game, I think he's one of the best in the game. All around fielder, hitter as well, hit for power, of course. Bryce Harper is number 5 on my list. Number 4, Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Just had an MVP season. People just starting to find out about Christian Yelich. He was in Miami for years, which the more I think about that Marlins team, or what it could have been, it's just sad. A lot of good players came through there. Like D. Gordon yesterday played for the Mariners. He was on that team. Christian Yelich. Ralamuto, the catcher that also signed with the Phillies. Giancarlo Stanton. The late Jose Hernandez. So they had a decent team. They always made the playoffs that year. The accident happened with Hernandez. If they had kept that team together, who knows? Maybe they competing in the NL East right now. But anyway, he's been good for years. He's just been under the radar because he's been playing for loser teams. But he helped the Brewers almost get to the World Series last year. So I gotta give him his love. I got him number 4 on my list. Number 3, JT Martinez of the Boston Red Sox. Even though he's mainly a DH, probably for the most part, but he definitely carried a big bat, consistent at the plate, and maybe a underrated outfielder. Like I said, he don't play the field every single day, but that's why the biases with the players say, people say, he can't field. But when you talk about best players, you usually look at that they hitting for the most part. I don't know why people don't admit that, but that's just the truth. And if it is hitting, he'd probably be almost number 1 on this list. He's been consistent the last few years. Came from Arizona last year. Signed with the Red Sox in the offseason last year. Helped them win a World Series. JT Martinez, number 3, excuse me. Number 2, Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. Yeah, he's young. He had an up and down year last year as well, but he was hurt. I think when he's not injured, I think he's probably one of the best in the game. I just see the status on base percentage drastically went up. He was a guy sort of like a hit and miss guy. Like he would strike out a lot, but he still hit pretty decently. I think he's gonna have a monster year, as long as he stay healthy. I think the Yankees are due to have a monster year again. Can they challenge the Red Sox for the division? That'll be the question. And they got a few injuries to start the season. Hicks is hurt. I think the catcher, dang, man. Man, in fact, I hate when I go blank on names. I really do. It bothers me. Gary Sanchez. There we go. I had some notes a few weeks ago when I did my catchers list. I think he's hurt or something. I know they got a few injuries going into the season, but they still should be fine. I think the Yankees have a monster year. Aaron Judge, already loved in New York. I think he's due to have a big year. So he's number 2 on my list. And number 1, no doubt, Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels. He just got paid 12 years, $430 million. Can't argue that he don't deserve it. Also, sort of, even though he's known around baseball, but he's sort of under the radar as well because the Angels only been to the playoffs, I think, once since he's been there. But just check his numbers, hitting wise, he's consistent. Hit for power, average, everything you need him to do. Steal bases, play the field well. Just the all-around best player in baseball without a doubt. And he's number 1 on my top 5 outfielders list. So to recap, number 5, Bryce Harper of the Phillies. Number 4, Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 3, JD Martinez for the Red Sox. Aaron Judge, number 2 for the Yanks. And number 1, undisputedly, Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You could throw that in there. Hopefully Shatoni, another Japanese player, he comes back. Give him some help. Pujols near the end of his career, but Albert can still hit a little bit. So like I said, baseball's gonna be real interesting this year. A lot of teams could maybe come out of nowhere and do something, but we're gonna talk a lot more baseball next week. We have an all wall-to-wall preview of the 2019 season. I give you my World Series picks, MVP picks, Cy Young, everything. We're gonna break down baseball. I did this once before, 2 years ago. It was last year. My blogs wasn't I wasn't on because of my living situation. So, and of course, this episode 100 should be like, if I would have never stopped, I'd probably be on like probably at least 50 more of that. But it's gonna be fun next week. I can't wait. Start doing some research, put together a pretty nice blog for next week. So if you're a baseball fan, definitely come back and join me next Wednesday. We have our special MLB Sports Blog next week, episode 101. So join me next Wednesday. Let's move on to the NBA basketball. NBA, like I said, the NCAA Tournament started, so NBA been a little quiet, no drama off the court that much. I did hear some sad news yesterday when I was listening to the sports radio. I always listen to anything ESPN. ESPN is my go-to for my everything, pretty much. When I want to know something, I go there. But I was listening to the radio like I normally do. Stephen A. Smith show. I'm a big Stephen A. fan as well. He announced that Kevin Durant lost. I think it's like his brother, somebody in the family, got killed on his birthday in Atlanta. I think the night before. So that's very, very sad news. So and Kevin Durant, well, he's a great player. Like I said, I always speak, you always, with anybody with stars, you don't really know them. You just feel them out when they have press conferences or when they talk. But I really genuinely feel that Kevin Durant is a good person. Maybe a little emotional sometimes, maybe a little defensive of himself sometimes. He speaks his mind, but he's very respectful. And I just know at other times like this, like when Marty Williams lost his wife, I think he was working for the Pelicans at the time, and that tragic car accident. I think Marty Williams was on the Warriors staff, I believe, or on the Oklahoma City staff. I think he still was Oklahoma City then, I believe. If I'm not, I might be wrong. If I am, I apologize for that. But basically, you know, he was real emotional about that. He just showed us, you know, people are human. No matter, you know, where you are in life, you know, how much money you make, you're a big time star. You're probably the second best player in the world easily. Probably number one now, because LeBron sort of tailed off just a little bit, even though LeBron's still playing pretty well. But the Lakers ain't making the playoffs. That's pretty much a done deal. But so I guess just imagine how, you know, how it's going to affect him. He was hurt the last few games. I don't think he's been playing anyway, but I know he's feeling it right now. So condolences out to him and to the Warriors staff and anybody else who's affected by that. But it's sad, like, it just, you know, I mean, sometimes I talk about stuff other than sports, but I really believe, man, this world is a bad place. People just harm each other all the time. Just tired, you know, I get tired of it. It gets me depressed. I've been battling my depression this week, not because of, you know, for things like that, things in my own life, but people just cruel, man. Like, it's senseless violence. People just hate each other for no reason. And I speak on it all the time, where I try to, like, why can't we just, I mean, it might sound simple, it might sound impossible. Like, I was just thinking about it before I came on. Oh, well, it's not a, I mean, the world won't be possible if everybody love kumbaya, but why can't it? Why can't we try to? You know, people hurt each other for stupid reasons. Just because, like I said, on my other channel, Open Book with Troy West, you can go over there right now and check that out. I might leave a link here on this video. People just, you know, just for disagreeing, people want to kill you, man. Or, I mean, it's just that people just selfish, man. I just can't come up with any other words. It's just, this world is just, it makes me sick sometimes. And hearing something like that, it's just an example. This man was probably just celebrating his birthday. Of course, you don't know all the details, but no matter what happened, it don't cost somebody, you know, their life. Even if somehow maybe he got in an argument, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I don't know no details other than what happened to him. But it's just sad, man. Can't go out for your birthday, enjoy yourself. You gotta wind up getting shot. Like I said, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I mean, enough said. You know, you can't. You pretty much look at your head over your shoulder, even though you're not a person that's even about that life. Just you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's any city. But here, living here, I just try to stay away and keep my mouth shut. Have food, you know, I got a friends here and there, but I don't be out in the street. I don't want to get off topic too much. I just wanted to bring that to people's attention if they wasn't. And Kevin Durant is a good player and a good person, so I just hope he's dealing with it well, and that's all. But I ain't gonna get all off the sports topic here. But other than that, playoffs, let's start in the Western Conference, because I think the West is pretty much set with the 8 teams. The seed is not set yet. Warriors and Nuggets still battling for that top spot, and you got Houston and the Oklahoma City creeping behind them. Portland not too far behind them either. Then you got the Jazz and the Clippers. Missing one team, because I think that's only 6 teams. So I think those 8 are set. I think well, the Lakers are not officially eliminated, but they're not catching nobody. I think they like 8 back. The Kings, surprising year, a good step forward, but I think they going to fall short as well. Oh, the Spurs, that's the team I forget about. San Antonio Spurs, which is, like I said, I'm not surprised. I don't think I picked them to go to the playoffs though. I think I had New Orleans, but that's now we can see why. that fell apart. Anthony Davis situation and everything, and the organization as well. But Spurs, I'm not shocked though that the Spurs were still able to do something. They still have talent there. Coach Popovich is probably the best coach in the history of the game, you know, given about what he had. Well, he had Tim Duncan, but other than that, you know, not taking away from manager Ginobili or Tony Parker, but Coach Popovich is probably the best coach in the NBA still today. So those are the 8 teams that's going to make it. It just depends on the seedings and everything. In the East, of course, you got like I said, the 5 clear teams: Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, big win against Boston the other day, which got Marcus Smart $50,000 in debt to the NBA as they fined him. Him and Embiid got into it. I think he pushed Embiid. Embiid was ready to go like he's about to kill him. But I think that was a big win for the Sixers to get a little bit of confidence going into the playoffs. Indiana, which is to me one of the biggest surprises in the NBA, how they still floated, kept competitive after the Oladipo went down. Brooklyn Nets, another surprise team in the mix. Then there's that bottom. We could include Brooklyn here as well, but what is it? Miami and Orlando is on the outside looking at Orlando about a game back. Wizards and Hornets. I think the Hornets is in there somewhere as well. So all those teams are fighting for the last spot. So the East a little bit more uncertain at the bottom, but they pretty much secured that top with the Bucks leading the way. Like I said, who I had going into the season? I had the Warriors from the West, and I think the East I picked Boston. I still think Boston can come out the East. I think can they get it together though? I don't like. Well, some people already discount Milwaukee. I'm not going to do that. I think there is a different team from last year. They shoot the ball better. Well, with them, that's what I worry about. Them is shooting the 3, and also with Philadelphia, that's my concern with them. Even though they made some moves in the midseason with Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler, I think before I actually made those predictions. So I mean, maybe they'd be better for the playoffs for that reason, but really only teams Toronto is another team you can't let sleep on you as well. They got Marc Gasol at the trade deadline, and Kawhi Leonard seems like he's motivated, but now I've heard some stories say he's not as motivated as he normally is. Like he's already looking out the door. So who knows? But I've still put my faith in Boston, even though they got issues. But I think the uncertainty that other teams and the experience Boston has, and the experience usually matters in the playoffs. So I'm not going to change that bet yet. And as far as the Warriors, not really going to change that either. You know, I just think, I mean, the West is a lot stronger than it ever been. But I still think when the Warriors are clicking on all cylinders, nobody can beat them. And I think that will prove in the playoffs once again. They get everybody healthy and ready. I think Boogie Cousins will be a surprise X factor as well. And I think the Warriors will come out the West again. So right now I'm not changing my 2 picks unless something happens between now and then, an injury, or they just simply get eliminated, and then I will have to change. And of course I will have another special playoff edition previewing the playoffs once every day gets set. Playoffs usually start on a Saturday. I probably do it that Friday, or maybe that Thursday, because I have my weekly blog as well. So that's something to look forward to in the next few weeks. But that's all pretty much in the NBA. Not a lot going on. So let's move on to some NFL news. Of course, it's the off season, but you know, free agency was a frenzy the last few weeks. Justin Houston, I saw signed with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts is another team that's up and coming, and that tough AFC South is starting to become a real strong division with the Colts. Houston's still going to be competitive with Deshaun Watson development, and the defense of Watt and Javion Clowney. Tennessee, like I said, not a bad team, and Jacksonville getting Foles, did that make them improve? So that division is very interesting. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But the biggest news to me, which was a shock to me when I heard this yesterday, the Colin Kaepernick settlement grievance. Of course, it's supposed to be, everything was supposed to be confidential, but a lot of people knew that was eventually something was going to get out somehow. Something was going to get out. But the shocker to me is the money. Supposedly, according to Wall Street Journal, which I wouldn't think this would be a misinterpretation or a mix up of numbers or anything. Let's include Eric Reed into this, but Kaepernick is the big face of it, but Eric Reed was also in this case, and he's playing in the NFL though, so I don't, it just sucks. They supposed to get $10 million each, to split. That's all, $10 million. That's what they settled for. It's just hard for me to believe that they took this. That's why it got to be some other details of the contract that maybe that's because really this just numbers. We don't know the details. Still, we don't know the details of the contract or what they agreed on or whatever the grievance, what they agreed. But $10 million to split between the two of them, and that's it. Then I heard, I read some of the article. It says, some of that went to lawyers that they, that they use and all that, But still, man, like all you get is, if they split it evenly, $5 million each. Like that's not, especially for Kaepernick, he was making almost $20 million a year before they supposedly kept him out the NFL, which I don't think now it's not that maybe they couldn't prove. Maybe they had no paper trail or anything about that, so maybe they just took what they could, but it's hard to believe that's the case, But, I don't know Cap's situation. I know Eric Reed is playing in the NFL again, so I was about to say I don't feel too much sorry for him, even though he was sort of blackballed probably too, and he deserved more money. But he is playing in the NFL again. He played last year for the Panthers, and I think he signed a extension when the free agency started a few weeks ago. So he's back in the league. But Kaepernick, I don't know. I predicted I don't think he's going to play again because now I think they're going to use his age. He ain't played in 2 years. That's what's going to be the excuses now. It ain't going to be about the kneeling and all that. Now it's going to be about he ain't played, this and this and that. So I'd be surprised if he play again. But this make me think maybe it's more possible because maybe that's in the contract that he will get a fair, get a fair contract or get, actually get signed somewhere. Other than that, I don't see how they settled for just this little bit of money. I really don't. I mean, I might be naive or just not knowing what I'm talking about, or somebody can educate me on it. Maybe I need to do more research, but it's just ridiculous. $10 million to split, not even each, to split, which is nothing, compared to what he could have made if he'd have been signed somewhere. So, it just, I don't know. I was just shocked by it. But I'm guessing there's got to be more stipulations in the grievance other than just the money. It has to be. Or other than that, I don't see why they settled for that little bit of money. But I just wanted to talk about that because I just didn't get it. I was just, and compare, we look at all the quarterbacks around this league that keep getting opportunities. Kaepernick, he didn't play well overall his last few years in the league, but the 49ers pretty much once they left, I blame the 49ers as well because the organization blew up. They got rid of Harbaugh because he didn't get along with the GM and the ownership or whatever it was. They let him go, and the whole team just fell apart after that. Even though I like what they're doing now with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan at the coach. So I really like what they're doing. I think the 49ers are up and coming. I still think they probably another year away again because I think the Rams are still going to be the class of this division. They made some moves, some quiet moves. They got Clay Matthews. Of course, you know about Weddle and other little small moves that they made. Vontaze Burfict got cut this week, but he found a home quickly. He's with Oakland for a 1-year deal. So that's just other little bits and pieces of news. Draft is probably less than a month away, I believe. I know it's in the next April. So we'll see how teams build, but that Justin Houston to the Colts. To me, that's a big deal. That might prove good for the Colts. I think the Patriots is going to be tougher to repeat this time. But it's still going to be hard for me to pick against them. Probably when the season starts, probably still wind up picking them again. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. The AFC really looking strong. And the NFC is wide open as well. So football, still got a long wait for it, but it's going to be another exciting season when it starts. Alright, well, let's go ahead and try to wrap this up as much as possible. Final thoughts. NCAA Tournament started yesterday, kicked off. It was some good games. I was only able to watch the Maryland game. Like I said, I was working all day yesterday. But like I said, I got used to now how they do the coverage. It used to be all CBS now. TNT and Turner has stepped in. So you can watch pretty much any game you want. You don't have to be regional, which is cool. So if you just look up who or what channel and just watch that channel. Maryland was on True TV, because True TV has coverage, all the Turner channels, TNT, TBS, and then CBS still do games. So, and then you got Charles Barkley and the crew from TNT, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, with Clark Kellogg. I think Greg Gumbel does a little bit of work as well. So this is always a great time of year. I told this story I think yesterday. I was I want to say I was in the third. I was at least the third or fourth grade, and I was sick for some reason around that time. And I laid in my room, which I shared with my sisters and them all day. I was sick, watching games. That's how I got hooked to the NCAA. And I think I'm not as big a college basketball fan like I was when I was younger. I think when I was younger, you sort of, I guess because you close to those guys' ages. Like, I think that's for me. I think that's why I was a bigger fan. I grew away from. Now I'm more of an NBA fan than a college fan. I usually don't get into college basketball until now, to the tournament. But there's a lot of great games yesterday. A few surprises, not that many. I follow Florida. I'm sort of a Florida Gators fan. Well, I was a football team, and then I just started following the whole school. They won yesterday. They beat Nevada, which is, I guess it's a big deal because Nevada was picked to go far. What they did last year, I guess. But they got eliminated. That was a good game. I watched a little bit of that game as well. Maryland barely won. Speaking of that game, Belmont pretty much controlled most of the game, and Maryland, I think they basically was bigger than they was on the boards. I think just out-muscled Belmont 1-2. Gonzaga ain't had no problems. They blew out their opponent. I think it was Frank Dickinson. I know they played in the first four the other day. Of course, the tournament actually started Tuesday, with the first four now, Tuesday, Wednesday. They blew them out. Syracuse lost already. Louisville as well, so the ACC took a couple of hits. Michigan played pretty well. Michigan State was in a tight one for a while. I had to pull away from Bradley. Auburn was scared, got a scare. So it was some pretty interesting games yesterday, but no real big, remarkable upsets yet. The three ACC number ones, they played today: Duke, Virginia, North Carolina. Of course, everybody was. I guess I don't like Duke, but it's hard for me not to root for Duke. Like I said, I didn't really give a bracket this year, so I had no major predictions for you. But I don't know. I just got a feeling about Duke, though. I think they're gonna wind up winning it all. I can't do with a Final Four, this, Final Four, that. I like the way Florida State's playing right now as well. They won yesterday, even though they started off a little slow. I watched them play last week. So I think it's going to be an ACC team. We just don't know which one, but I think Duke, if they fully healthy. Because you notice all the losses they had, somebody was hurt. Pretty much most of the losses they had this year. So, except for the Gonzaga loss, which was early in the year. So, but I like Duke. I think Duke will somehow win it, even though as a fan I can't stand Duke. So, but yeah, that started. Upcoming content. This is one of my off days, so I'm gonna try to do some work. I'm gonna try to do some Resident Evil 2 video today. Try to get back into Mega Man X. I always lose contact of that. I'm gonna try to get back into that. Some more Sonic Mania as well. So and Division 2 with me and my brother Fat Man Don Parker Sr. We'll do some more. We played a little bit yesterday, but like I said, every time me and my bro get on, we talk about a lot of personal things. So I'd be like, dang, maybe I should post this video, to be honest with you. So so we'll do something. I want to do something live as well. I want to do some Division live, maybe one of these days, maybe Monday. I don't know, but just look out for it. They the recent projects that I'm doing right now. Of course, coming up, Mortal Kombat, I think it's next up. Mortal Kombat 11. I've been watching videos of it. It's going to be awesome. Try to get that. And also Rage 2 for sure. It's a guarantee I'm getting that. I love the first Rage for the PS3. Rage was one of my favorite games. Actually, shout out to my best friend. She bought it for me for a birthday gift one year when it came out. It came out in October a few years back, and she bought it for me. But it's been a rough week for me. Trying to stay motivated, trying to stay positive. Like I said, I talk about my depression. I'm open about it for the most part. I have a whole channel on it now. But I'm trying, like I said, I thought about giving up this channel. Haven't been on social media promoting anything. Like I said, I appreciate the support that I do get though, despite me feeling the way I feel. But I haven't given up yet, that's all I can say. And everybody who does support me, I appreciate it so much, because I definitely would be lost if I didn't get no support at all. But I'm just trying. My situation is not like I wanted to be. Just other days in my personal life, not how I wanted to be right now. So it's just been dragging me a little bit. But I appreciate y'all patience. And this is episode 100. I wanted to be much more upbeat. I wanted to do something special. Just couldn't. I just couldn't. Honestly, just wasn't in the. My mood wasn't good, and also I just didn't know how to, celebrate it. But I'm grateful that I was able to do 100 of these, despite all the bumps and bruises along the way. So I thank everybody who's been here since episode 1. It's almost been 2 years. I started this blog 2 years ago, April 1st, which was the start of the MLB season as well. I started off doing a MLB preview special. So when I do that next Wednesday, it'll bring back some memories. I was in the middle of a lot back then, and still was able to do blogs every week. I was out of work. I checked myself in the hospital a couple of weeks after that, so it was a trying time. The last 2 years for me, has been very, very hard. So I just appreciate people who have stayed by me through the whole situation. So. But I'm happy that I made it to 100, and hopefully I do 100 more, and hopefully things expand from here on. So just thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. I thank you again for all the support. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get some work in today, so definitely check back in a few hours. I have Resident Evil 2, some Sonic Mania, some Mega Man X, maybe some Call of Duty as well. Which I'll throw in a video of that as well. I forgot about that, Black Ops 4. But like I said, my motivation never been there, because I wanted to do some videos, at least 1 or 2 every morning, and haven't been able to. But I thank you guys. I don't want to ramble too much more. I thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your sports week. Enjoy the tournament. Enjoy baseball, which is starting. Join me next Wednesday for a special edition of the Solid Sports Video Blog as we look at the baseball season. I'm Troy West saying thank you so much for watching. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate all the support. Thanks again.